Hello, I'm Mike Eline with the Circle of Legal Trust. I've got a little cold today, so just bear with me. We're going to talk a little bit about Panda and the little phantom update that I think happened around May 20th to the 27th and talk about how it's affected lawyers specifically, and we can do a little open session in a second. So a lot of you guys probably know that there was allegedly a Panda update around May 20th. And then around the 27th, a lot of people were saying that there was additional uh, activity that appeared to be another update, and Google would not confirm it. The history behind the Panda and Penguin is that when it really destroyed people around April of 2012, they released them together. Matt Cutts would not confirm whether or not this was the same kind of a combination release. But a lot of the experts, like Conrad Sams and myself, think that they released them together or within close proximity, and they just didn't tell us. A lot of people have been focusing on link removal, thinking that somehow, or that's going to get their old ranking back. But in reality, in order to survive Penguin, not only do you have to remove the caustic links, you have to build good links. But in reality, Panda and Penguin they really are almost, in my opinion, not much different than each other. Uh, First of all, Penguin is looking for a lot of exact match anchors. If you have too many money terms like Los Angeles personal injury attorneys, for example, Google is going to assume that no two webmasters are going to give you the same anchor text to your site. And so when you have a lot of sites all shooting back the same anchor text, that's a no-no because it looks like you either paid for those or they're your sites. So the way around that is for you to make sure that if there are any sites pointing to you with the same exact anchor text that you either disavow those links or you rewrite that content. Get the webmaster to put a new link in there for you. That kind of a thing, to get rid of too many exact match anchors. But when you do that, you also have to make sure you write really quality content, and that's where Panda comes in. Panda uses basically what's similar to what college professors use for grade term papers, which is like a flesh Kincaid system. And then, Seth, could you mute your microphone because we've got a lot of static coming in from you. Here's us. Seth, can you mute your microphone, buddy? I'm going to see if I can mute him. Put a new link in there for you. That kind of a thing, to get rid of too many exact match anchors. But when you do that, you also have to make sure you write really quality content, and that's where Panda comes in. Panda uses basically what's similar to what college professors use for grade term papers. Set up to where if you were I'm still getting feedback from Seth Price. He really needs to mute his microphone. It sounds like he's got us on a tape delay or something. Maybe he's watching the video portion. But I'm going to try my best here to. Yeah, man, it's really bad. Seth, you got to turn off your microphone, buddy. Got to mute your microphone. You're just screwing up everything here. Set up to where if you were, I'm still getting feedback from Seth Price. He really needs to mute his microphone. It sounds like he's got us on a tape delay or something. Maybe he's watching the video portion. But I'm going to try my best here. Yeah, man, it's really bad. Seth, you got to turn off your microphone, buddy. Got to mute your microphone. You're just screwing up everything here. I'm still getting feedback from Seth Price. He really needs to mute his microphone. It sounds like he's got us on a tape delay or something. Maybe he's watching the video portion. I'm going to try my best here. Yeah, it's really bad. Seth, you got to turn off your microphone, buddy. Got to mute your microphone. You're just screwing up everything here.
I'm not hearing anything over here now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. All right. I'm just still. Okay, Seth, you gotta mute your microphone, buddy. If you're there. Okay. All right. So basically, what's going on here is you've got Panda, which operates very similar to the Flesh Kincaid, but it's not just Flesh Kincaid. They have different levels of reading that they like to serve when someone types in a particular search query. So if you're doing an advanced search query looking for like articles or some kind of a journal from like the physician's desk reference, for example, that will be in the advanced reading level. So when you go to Google and you look in the upper left, it'll say reading level. There's like a little, thing you can put your mouse over on the Google search, and you'll actually see the reading level tool there. Google likes to serve up intermediate results, not advanced. Okay, so basically they're looking at it like this. Most people are looking for intermediate results because most people are intermediate. We don't talk like Carl Sagan. We're not billions and billions of years and all that. We have normal conversational English. And so when you write your website and you write articles that point to your website, it needs to be in conversational type English. Okay. And that's kind of what Panda's looking for on your website. They want to see conversational English with semantically related keywords. Words, if you have a criminal site that you want to use words within the body of the article like perpetrator, victim, uh, jury result, jury verdict, things like that that would, crime, mens rea. You'd want to have words like that pinging off of other words within the body of the article. Google's not looking for the three keywords anymore repeating themselves. That's the old way of doing it. And so what a lot of people have mistakenly done is they've been using keyword density tools. You've heard of this before. They have keyword density checkers and all this other stuff. Excuse me. They've been using keyword density tools to try and sort of write this weird content that's going to be search engine friendly. Well, that's out the door. And as Panda gets better and better and better, Panda's nuking all that stuff, all right? So, Findlaw, in particular, their firm sites seem to use the keyword density type tools a lot. And so it looks like they got really hammered on the 20th. So if you have a Findlaw firm site, you're probably not ranking well unless you're a big-time paying customer and you have links on their high page rank pages. So that's kind of the way Findlaw does it. Like if you're in good terms with them and pay them a lot of money, you get links from them on some of their pages that the other people don't get, and it's usually their authority pages, even though they don't sell links, right?
Right.
So that's kind of the way it works. And so a lot of firm sites got absolutely obliterated, and people are freaked out, and that's why a lot of people have been contacting me going, hey, can you do my SEO for me? And it's like, guys, I don't do SEO. I teach you how to do it. And the good news is there's a lot of other attorneys in our group, and if you're part of the circle and they like you, they may link back to your site. It's gratuitous, though. Nobody's expected to do any of this stuff. We're not into linking schemes or doing anything to piss off Matt or Google. But as a general rule, if you write a badass article or you have good material on your site and we know who you are, I'm going to include you in one of my footer links as a resource. That's just the way it works. So you're going to get juice that way without engaging in a linking scheme type of a thing. I'm digressing a little bit. Let me get back onto Panda. So the deal is, with this Panda update, and this is why I say they're very similar. With the Panda update, give me 1 second here. What's happened is, now Thomas, do me a favor and try to mute your microphone for a second. It sounds like you might have me on YouTube tape delay. Do you know how to mute your microphone? Sounds like you're muted now. Okay, good. Okay. So basically, what's going on here is a lot of people, they're a little confused about, oh, well, if I just remove my exact match anchors, I should be good to go with Penguin. But no, Penguin and Panda are almost like a brother and a sister. That's the only way I could really explain it. To me, I don't really see much of a difference between the two, other than that Penguin's really looking for a lot of exact match anchors. What you really need to be focused on is your content. So as Panda runs their filter, they're crawling through all the sites that link back to you as well, and they're rating the quality of their content. And if there's a bunch of crappy content pointing to you, you're going to get destroyed, because what's going to happen is any links pointing to your site are now getting basically looked upon as from a poor quality site, maybe even a bad neighborhood. So if you have backlinks pointing to your site that are on other websites that have poor content, your site's going to get hit too. And so it's not always just the content on your site you need to be concerned with. It's your content on every site that links back to you. And unfortunately, a lot of my guys didn't make it today, even though I gave advance notice, because I wanted to talk to everybody about this, because this is a big deal. Because, back in the day, I may have written a cool article, and one of my buddies may have posted it for me, and it may have been a good article back then, but not anymore. And so what I recommend you guys do, if you do have articles on other sites or someone's linking back to you, you may want to consider rewriting that article and having them post a new article for you on that same URL that's a high quality article. Well, what is a high quality article? Well, a high quality article is basically something that looks like it was written by someone with a master's degree in English, or something that you might have written for the Court of Appeal or for the Supreme Court with proper headers, proper citations and authorities within the article, citing back to your original sources. And of course, I am not a proponent of exact match anchors. I think exact match anchors are caustic to your website. Uh, yeah, you need a few here and there, but you don't need that many. I would say maybe 1% of your overall link profile should be an exact match. What you guys need to be focused on is what I call guilty by association links. And so, Thomas, for you, just to explain, a guilty by association link is a link basically that is your brand name, or a naked anchor like www dot, or a click here, which is like a dirty anchor, or a view our website type thing. But it's, I would say, within 5 or 6 words around that word. So here's your word, and then around that word you would have the keywords you want to rank for. But it has to be in conversational English. You can't force it. You can't make it like, where you just force a bunch of keywords around the anchor. It has to look like it belongs there naturally. So an explanation or an example would be, if you want to learn more about DUI attorneys, click here. Well, DUI attorneys and click here are very close together, and that's called a guilty by association link. So Google is going to basically take a snapshot of that link, and it's going to go, okay, cool, that this article is indeed about DUI law. We've scanned the article, and it pops up a high intermediate score on Flesch Kincaid. They're not constantly repeating money keywords throughout the article. It looks legit. The site that it's on also has really high quality content. So therefore, we're going to go ahead and give this the maximum juice, and that link is going to rank you for those terms. It's simple as that. You're going to rank for those particular terms with that type of a link. And so those are the types of links that I would focus on if I were you. All the time. And it's a lot easier to get a webmaster like Seth or me to post an article for you if it's a good one and we like it, and we're going to edit it as well, because we don't want it to just be like a guest post. We always edit the stuff and add our own resources and make them stronger and better. So it's always easier to get us to want to do that when we don't feel like we're going to get in trouble. So that's kind of the key. So when you get these emails about guest posting and all this stuff, just go ahead and send those to your trash can. If you want to rank well, you want to deal with people who already have quality websites, who are complying with the Google quality guidelines in that regard. So how do I find sites that have high quality content? Well, it's kind of easy. Who's ranking? You look at who's ranking. Panda has already told you the kind of content they want to see. You'll find that when you run most of the sites that are ranking through a keyword density checker, you're going to find that they all fail the keyword density test because that's not what Google's looking for anymore. They're not looking at keyword density. They're smart enough now to figure out what your website is about, typically by the title of the site alone. And then if you can ping articles off that title to where they look legit, you're going to do good. You're going to kick major butt. Let me just look at my notes here really quick. Okay. So, and I'm in the kitchen, so I've got the sink running here for a second, so just bear with me. Who's that? Oh, okay. Babysitter's here. Perfect. Okay, so here's the deal, guys, and you in particular, Thomas. And I'm going to start doing these from my office at some point. It's just that today I'm just under the weather. Okay, so here's the deal. The Panda algorithm is really interesting because if you see a sudden drop in rankings and you've rewritten your site and had like an English major rewrite your site and you still dropped in rankings, Now you understand why I say it's very similar to Penguin. The sites that are linking back to you probably have old school articles on them that used to do really well in Google, where they're stuffed with keywords, where they repeat your keyword 4 or 5 times in the article. You need to get rid of those, man. You got to just nuke those articles. You either got to replace them with something good, or you got to nuke them. And my first recommendation is to nuke them, and let me tell you why. Because if that website that's linking back to you has an article like that on it, it probably has a million more. The deal with Panda is Panda will destroy your website for just one bad page. That goes for the sites that are linking to you as well as for pages on your own site. And so the first thing that you want to do, Thomas, especially if you have a lot of pages, is probably have Andre, unfortunately who isn't here today, go in and audit your site. You probably want to have one of my guys. I actually have a couple guys who are master's degrees in English who I'm working with now. I've sort of like stepped it up a little bit. I have some guys. I don't charge anything for it. You can pay them directly, but I can turn you on to guys that I trust who aren't going to screw you to basically rewrite your entire site to where it complies with Flesch Kincaid and basically looks like a term paper written by a really smart college student. That's how your site needs to look now. And so the thing is, when other sites are linking back to you and they have a couple of bad pages on them, that literally, even if you have a good article on one of those sites, it can actually hurt you. And so my recommendation is for you to try and just get rid of those articles and get rid of those links. And a lot of times the webmasters will be cool about it. And I'm like this. My buddy, he owns a 24/7 press release. When all those press release sites got hit, a couple of years back, look, I got in touch with him and I was like, look, here's the deal with your site. It's hurting me. Make everything no follow, and I'll help you recover. I digress a little bit, but the idea is you can contact these people in a friendly way and make them your friend rather than your enemy, where they're like not pissed off that you want to get them to remove your link. Because a lot of people take it like as an insult. Oh, how dare you want to remove your link from my site? And then so you want to approach it like, look, I've noticed that your site got nailed by Penguin. If you look at the graph and you look at the dates, you'll see you lost a lot of traffic around the 20th. Here's, I've analyzed your site. Here's why. Here's a couple examples of pages on your site that are thin, poor quality. You need to rewrite your site. In addition, can you please make my link no follow or just delete the article completely? Now, in time, Thomas and you other guys, if you're out there listening, Google is trying to make their algorithm to where if you do have an article coming off someone's site and it's a super high quality article, it's not going to drag you down if the rest of the site has a lot of crap on it. But right now, I don't think they're at that level yet, and so I think it's better safe than sorry to go ahead and try to get rid of that or make it a no follow. Now, what value does a no follow have? Well, one, it gives you traffic, and number two, any site with a natural link profile is going to have a bunch of no follows, just the way it is. And so, Google actually started penalizing sites that had only do follow links. Well, why? Because Google just assumes that you're just part of a domain farm trying to get page rank juice. So, no follow links are extremely important. So that could go to your overall percentage. Although they don't count the no follow link towards ranking or anything like that, they do look at it in their algorithm to determine how many no follows versus do follow do you have. It doesn't look natural. So they look at naturalness is part of the overall scheme that they're using to determine where to place you in the ranking. Now, for me, I had an amazing recovery. I mean, I recovered for stuff that I lost back in April of 2012, and I've been living off gas fumes for the last couple of years, trying to reverse engineer this algorithm, and that's one of the reasons why I started the Circle of Legal Trust, because Google started getting smart, and they're saying, hey, if you're going to hire SEO companies and give them money rather than pay us pay-per-click, and they do a crummy job, we're going to punish you. So you've got to make a decision. Do you want to keep hiring SEO companies who just want to make money, or do you really want to produce a high-quality site? If you don't want to produce a high quality site, by all means, we have pay-per-click, 50, 80 bucks a click. It's here for you all day, every day. And once, by the way, guys, once net neutrality gets wiped out, our days are numbered in organic search. So you all should be lobbying heavily against the anti-net neutrality regulations. Uh, just a little history behind it. It's not just a Democrat or a Republican thing. Uh, in this case, these companies like I think AT&T or one of these big telecom companies have been giving tons of money to both sides, and in this case, the president happens to be a Democrat. But I don't think it would matter who it was because I've done some lobbying in D.C. and both sides seem to care about his money. And so in this case, they give a lot of money to the particular administration, and he appoints a guy as the head of the FCC who used to be one of these CEOs or something for one of these big companies. And now they're trying to abolish net neutrality. I know it's going a little bit off mark, but this conversation we're having right now would be totally irrelevant if net neutrality got wiped out, because we're not going to rank anymore. It's going to be basically all paid results and heavily taxed. So everybody should be fighting against that like yesterday. This definitely crosses party lines. All of us should be battling this. Okay, so back on target. The Panda deal is this. You need to look at the sites that are pointing to you. If they have crummy content, and how do you know if they have crummy content? Easy. Go to that Google reading level tool, first of all, and run their URL through the reading level tool and see what Google spits back. Number two, look at the actual stuff yourself and pretend like you're a college professor. And I think they even have a Flesh Kincaid free tool on the internet that you could use as well. But you want to look at that as well. But my guest, Thomas, and you can unmute your mic if you want to just have an open discussion with me. Okay. I don't know if you noticed, but I think you mentioned something that your traffic kind of slowed down around May. Is that true?
On the website, it's been down quite a bit. So I haven't done anything with the website in probably a year and a half. So we're having that redone.
Okay.
The video stuff, it's always pretty strong. So have some droppage a little bit towards the bottom of the first page, but it always seems to kick back up. So
okay.
Again, a lot of that is the backlinking that has to be done. A lot of that is changing the content of the page.
Yeah. So with the videos, you can actually look. Google likes to rank their own content. I mean, I think everybody kind of knows that.
Right.
With the video, to be honest with you, the description is really important.
It is.
So look at the descriptions, number one, and make sure that they are really well done. I would have someone who's an English major rewrite every single description for you. If you're seeing a drop in traffic, and that drop started around May 20th,
right?
Guaranteed, it's Panda.
Right.
But it's probably also Penguin because I believe there was a phantom update. I believe they ran both algorithms together, but they're not telling us because typically the big hits are when they run them both at the same time. Go ahead.
One of the other sites that I look at was talking about the Panda update. They shipped off a beta test before they shipped out the original, and I think that I don't actually think it was a beta. I think it was the same thing you're talking about. It was a Panda and then Penguin, or vice versa.
Yeah.
I think that's where it came
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, a lot of people think that they started running the test on the 20th.
Right.
Then on the 27th is when they actually released the real algo. Yeah, I've heard that too.
I think it makes more sense that they did one of each. They did a Panda and a Penguin.
That's probably what happened. But Google doesn't like to confirm anymore. They like to keep spammers guessing as to what they do.
Right.
So I would just assume that they ran both and hope that they didn't if you were trying to recover from Penguin, because if you got a boost on this last one and they release all the chains, because Penguin acts like a chain.
Right.
No matter how many great backlinks you get, no matter what you do to your site, once that chain pulls you down like a boat anchor to the bottom of the sea, until they refresh the algorithm, it's not going to pop back up.
Right.
And so my guess would be they did both, but they don't want spammers to know what they did because they want to keep them confused, and that makes perfectly good sense. Hey, it's Google's game, until Circle Legal Trust is big enough to have its own search engine, and
Sure.
we can't really argue with these guys. So probably what happened is they did probably run both. But again, what I was saying applies. If you have crummy content coming from one domain, and it's got a link pointing to your site, that's where you need to look first. I would look at your backlinks. I assume you know how to use hrefs?
Yes.
Okay, hopefully you have the paid version where you can dig deep. You want to use hrefs, maybe Majestic. There's a couple other ones. I think there's Backlinks Checker is another one. You want to run them all just to make sure. Use the Moz tool. But use a paid one too that goes deep. I like hrefs. For me, it's been the one that gets most of the links. And then I cross-reference against the free tools, and sometimes I'll find a few, but usually I don't. You want to look at who's linking to you. You want to look at their sites. You want to determine if they're quality sites. If you find that they're not really high-quality sites, you want to really get your content or your link off of there. And if you can, use the Google Link Disavow tool. Now, a little caveat on the Google Link Disavow tool that a lot of people don't know. If you've done a 301 redirect, where you've redirected one page to the next, or to a subdomain, like if you have thomasnellison.nellison.com, that's a subdomain.
Right.
If you've redirected nellison.com to thomas.nellison.com, you need to add nellison.nellison.com subdomain to Google Webmaster Tools. You need to do your link disavow through that subdomain. You need to use that. That's where you post your link disavow. Otherwise, what happens is Google ignores it. It treats it as a no-follow, but it has to be to the right subdomain, or if you've redirected to a whole other site and you're still using the old website to post your disavow, it's not going to work. You're not going to disavow anything. So that's just a little trick that a lot of people don't know. And you also need to disavow both versions of your domain. So www.elinelaw.com as well as elinelaw.com both need to be added to the disavow list. So that's another little trick a lot of people don't know about that you need to be aware of. So if all else fails and you can't disavow this stuff, I'm sorry, you can't get it removed or deleted or changed to a no-follow or rewritten and redone and all that other stuff, you need to know how to use the disavow tool properly. And it's always as a last resort, and I don't even know if the thing really works, to be honest. But the only way you'll know is to replace the old stuff with good new stuff and have good link velocity. Link velocity simply means that you don't have big spikes where you have a bunch of paid articles and then nothing for a few months and then a big spike where you pay some guy to post 50 articles. Google looks at that as a scam. You want to have consistent velocity going up, 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 up over time. Where it's just a consistent velocity. It looks like a site that people like, and people are voting for it because that's where the link is, and therefore you're popular.
Okay.
So that's kind of how you work that. Now, on to this other issue. I don't know, Seth, are you still there? I don't even know if he's listening, but just,
I'm still getting that echo in the background.
Yeah, it sounds like. Are you listening to the YouTube video?
No, I only have the Google Circle of Trust and this Hangout open.
Okay, because it does sound like there's some feedback coming from someone listening to like a tape delay.
Right. Almost like it's the YouTube feed.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you get that. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with that, but the hummingbird algorithm. Okay, that's a lot of people are freaking out because they're seeing sites like Findlaw and Lawyers.com ranking it, for terms that a local attorney should be ranking for. So you'll see like Yelp at the very top. You do a search for DUI attorney and you see Yelp, and you're like, what the fudge? Why is Yelp beating me? They don't even have good content on their site.
And out here we're getting Yelp, LawFind, and Avo.
Yeah.
They're all jumping into the top 3 and 4 places.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? And you look at their sites and they're not even that good. The content's not that good.
Right.
It's just, they're just, and the thing like with Avo, what they do is they basically scrape all the bars, like all the different, like California State Bar, your bar, so everything, and
Right.
they pull the listings and they list you on their site without even asking you, uh, and they create this huge directory of attorneys from basically scraped content, and then you come in and you claim your profile and so forth, and you know but most of the content that I've seen on those sites isn't that good, so it sort of flies in the face, doesn't it, of Panda?
Yes, yes.
It's like, why are you guys letting these sites? Well, that's because Hummingbird seems to think that because a lot of people, I believe it's because of the traffic that the sites generate. I
Probably.
believe that Google has made traffic more important, almost like Alexa has over time. I believe that their algorithm has sort of placed more of a priority on traffic
Right.
um, than uh, than it used to. And so one of the reasons why I personally believe those sites are ranking well is because they have an inordinate amount of traffic. But that doesn't mean that you need to throw up your hands and give up. What it means is that you need to really make sure you have a badass website that really has super high quality content, and that other websites are linking back to you that are also really high quality websites with high quality content,
Right.
and you have a strong social profile. Well, yeah, Google's not really taking authorship and a lot of that other stuff into consideration as a ranking factor, uh, but uh, if you have, well, I've got like 17,000 followers. If I can get 10 of those people a day to click on my website, I'm a happy camper. So that's a great way to generate traffic. Also, if you're a real heavy user of social media, Google flows PageRank.
Right.
So I think that when at one point on one of these social sites, I had a profile of a PageRank 6, and so that flows a great deal of trust and authority flow to your website, gives you more trust, and PageRank still is a factor in ranking. It's just not as important as it was. So
Right.
what you can do is you can sort of make up for a lot of the things that Hummingbird has taken from you by being constantly active in social media, getting that PageRank juice flowing to your site, um, getting more traffic to your site, being creative to try to get that traffic. One way you can definitely get a lot of traffic to your site, and before we can actually make you a member anyways, is to start posting articles on the Circle of Legal Trust blog. Um, but it has to be something that's helpful to attorneys because it's about
Right.
attorneys helping attorneys. So if you found that you recovered from a penalty or there's something that you noticed in the algorithm that might help a fellow attorney, write a cool blog post about it. We'll throw it up. That'll send traffic to your site. Um, I have the lawofficestudy.net where I teach kids how to become lawyers without going to law school. You might want to, do a sample bar exam answer and get that over to me. I get more traffic from how to become a lawyer without law school searches on Google than I do from any other search.
Wow.
So if you have an article on my site that's good, I'll give you authorship credit and send a link back to your site. If you guys want to learn more about criminal law or whatever, contact Tom. So we can sort of take these guys out by providing stuff that big sites like findlawlawyers.com aren't providing. And I honestly believe a lot of these sites are going to take a dump. Already, we saw in the last update, Findlaw Firmsites got blasted
Yes, they did.
into oblivion, man. So Google got wise. They realized that these lawyers aren't doing their own stuff. They realized that there's just a bunch of article spinners. They're writing stuff. They're linking back and forth to each other. They're not stupid. I mean, Matt knows what's going on. So I think in time, guys like you and me who have strong social presence, who are writing our own content or having an English major edit our content for us, which is what I do. Even though I'm a lawyer and I'm a pretty decent writer, I always make sure to have one of my friends who's an English major, master's degree in English, edit this stuff for me to make sure it's perfect. So you do little things like that, you maintain your social presence, and you get involved with niche sites like Circle of Legal Trust, lawofficestudy.net, where you're actually helping other people become lawyers or providing something of substance, of value. Most people don't do searches for DUI attorney. or a personal injury attorney. But if they see that this personal injury attorney or this DUI attorney is engaged in extracurricular activities, they're actually providing value. I believe that Google is going to honor those people and give them higher rankings. And you're getting traffic as well, which is what we all want. So you're getting two benefits of the traffic. One is Google's preference to rank sites higher that get a lot of traffic. And two, you're actually getting traffic that may even get you a client.
Right.
I get a lot of people who are like, hey, you're that marine lawyer. I want to hire you because I know I can trust you. Or you're the guy who became a lawyer without having his law degree. I want to hire you because I was really impressed by your story. So, if you brand yourself and something about you is unique, it's going to go a long way to helping you rank higher. And that's part of Google's algorithm too. On the website itself, they want to see what makes you different. They actually want to have a description. What makes our firm different than everyone else? Well, for me, I have a really unique subset of skills that makes me different from anyone. And so but you probably do too. And so you need to figure out. You need to sort of find yourself. You might be a pro golfer. We'll start talking about how you're a pro golfer and how joints can get sore, and you definitely understand what people are going through who are in pain. Or it may be that you've been a victim of speed traps, and or a bogus DUI where the pass test machine wasn't working properly, or where there was a rising blood or a lowering blood issue where you were a victim yourself, and so you've been in the same shoes as a lot of these other people. And so those are the kinds of things that you would want to talk about. And then in addition, the Circle Legal Trust is slowly becoming a really high traffic site. And so all of our members are going to benefit from having a profile and a directory listing on the Circle Legal Trust site, like a Findlaw site. The main difference being is that all of our stuff is actually edited by real lawyers, not content spinners and writers.
Right.
And I believe that over time, Google is going to be giving us more authority. And I think they already have been, to be honest. I think a lot of the guys who have joined the group have had significant recovery. Most of our guys are like people who were, like big timers back in April of 2012 and got hammered. And so it's like we're all like the Alcoholics Anonymous of Google search. We're all trying to figure out like how to recover. And so that's kind of a good thing because a lot of us have already done the homework for you. And so you can just sort of grab onto our coattails, but in time you're going to find something that you can provide of sustenance and substance, and you can be writing on the blog about that. So for you to become a member, I'm sure you've read the rules, but part of it is you've got to post at least one article on the blog, to show that you're an active participant. The memberships are free. We're not charging money, but we do have paid services that will help fund the organization. So I can pay for things like the Las Vegas seminars that we're going to start doing every year, stuff like that. We also have Colt Magazine, PDF, and journals and stuff like that you'll be able to write articles in. But the membership itself is well, it's free in that there's not a transference of money, but it's not free in that you have to participate. And as a lawyer, we all understand that there's guys in trial. Some guys are more litigators. Some guys are more trial guys. Some guys are appearance guys. So not all of us are going to be able to invest as much time as the others. It doesn't mean that you're any less worthy. We understand that because we're out hustling, trying to make it happen. So, you just need to attend at least one hangout a month and get an article up on the Circle Legal Trust blog. So I would just take a look through the Circle Legal Trust blog, look at the articles that are there, get an idea, and then write about something that you noticed or something that you think would be helpful to other attorneys. It could be anything. It could be anything that has to do with websites and attorneys. Something that's about attorneys. It can't just be like a Moz. We're not trying to be like SEO Moz.
Right.
It's specific to law and attorneys. It could be ethics and advertising. It could be the latest case about attorney advertising or commercial advertising. Whatever it might be, just get something to me as soon as you can. And then we'll have a swearing in. I'll take a vote. The originals will vote, and then we'll bring you in, and then we can get you up on On the Web of Trust Attorney Whitelisting Network, we can get you a patch to put on your website that identifies you as a member, and and I'll also get you some resources to help you with your website to get it rewritten. My guess is you probably need to rewrite your site.
Right, where they're redoing the whole thing.
Just make sure that the people who are redoing it they really know what they're doing. That's all. So if you're comfortable with them, that's fine. But let us take a look at it.
Okay.
Once it's done, so we can give you a critique.
Okay.
So now back on to Hummingbird. Seth mentioned Hummingbird. When I basically everybody's getting kind of freaked out because like Avo, Lawyers.com, and all these other sites they're all going to the top, and people are like scratching their head. Well, why? I mean, a lot of their stuff is garbage, and a lot of it is actually just reprints that you can get from .gov sources.
Right.
A lot of these sites are reprinting like legislative stuff, penal code section, blah blah blah. Well, you get that from a .gov site or a .court site. So I believe in time, Hummingbird's going to have to reevaluate itself. Even though those sites get a lot of traffic, I don't really believe they provide a lot of content that's of that much value that you couldn't get from its original source. And so I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think that you'll be, I think that you're going to be okay. And I think once you've rewritten your site, you've established yourself as a local presence. You're using the schema. You're getting on the local schema and providers. Oh, cool. Right, right on. Okay, Andre's here. Terrific. And then I want to introduce you to Andre really quick. Andre, I have Thomas here. He's another attorney. I think he does crim, right? Crim law?
Yes.
Okay, he's got no audio. I don't even know if he can hear us. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Okay, so he may not, or he may hear us, whatever. Just so you know who he is. Okay, he can hear us. So I just want you to know who he is. You should contact him through Google Plus and have him audit your site. He won't charge you to look at your site. Okay, he's an expert in design as well as the technical aspects of making sure that your site is set up with a proper silo structure. I don't know if you know what siloing is, but it's extremely important for Panda. So we can help you set up a proper breadcrumbs path, proper siloing. And I think for a nominal fee, he can also help you with future occurrences like malware attacks, spam attacks. If you're using WordPress, which is an open source, they're constantly getting hacked now. The higher you rank, competitors are trying to hack into your sites, so Google will return this site may be infected.
Okay.
Try to knock you out. So competitors are doing that on purpose to try to hurt you. So once you start ranking higher, you need to have somebody like an Andre monitoring your site. You need to have somebody who can go in there and fix it right away before Kaspersky and McAfee and all these other sites blacklist your site. So that's another part of ranking well, is to make sure the site's clean. So guys like Andre, very difficult to find. We made him an honorary attorney, so he can participate in the group because it is an attorney group.
Right.
And he's a good friend. He's a former, I think, canine police kind of guy. So real, honorable guy, military-like in virtues. Got the warrior mentality, which I prefer. As you probably know from the way I branded myself, I'm Mr. Hardcore Warrior kind of guy.
So just to give you an idea, my old website was done by the Yodel knuckleheads, and then when they weren't producing, I moved over to Organic SEO out of San Diego, and paying them money. Then after you pay them up front, then they don't do anything to your site. So I finally just put the site off to the side and just worked on the videos. I've been dealing with, and Keith Newstrom with Law Info, I guess. I've been dealing with him on some issues, helping some of the clients he has with video things and how to optimize the videos. And then now he is helping me redo my website, his group. So that's where the website stands. It should be done here in the next week or two, I would assume.
Okay, good. So So you have the one website. Now, Matt Cutts has said that up to 5 niche websites is okay, and you can even have them linking back to your main site without being like a spammer or trying to be manipulative.
Right.
So I would recommend coming up with a couple of microsites as well. So you might want to have one website that's devoted entirely to Rising Blood. You might want to have one website that's devoted entirely to some other sub-issue of criminal defense. Uh,
Roadside sobriety type
sure,
site, something like
sure.
that.
You might want to have a personal blog that talks about you and brands you as this great lawyer. And it serves many purposes. One of them is you probably have seen that niche sites tend to rank better than mega sites now.
Right.
It's easier also for a potential client to surf through a site that's topical. So if you're a class action attorney but you also do personal injury, it might be better to have a class action lawsuit website devoted
Right.
just to class actions. Don't cross-link them to each other. I would just do one-way links. I would have all the sub-sites linking back to your main site. I would even consider using no-follow links if they link back to your site. And the other purpose of having those sites is to avoid reciprocal linking. So if you post an article for me, you don't put it on your main site, you put it on one of your blogs, and that links back to me, and then I link back to your site with one of my other blogs, and I link back to your main site. So we're avoiding this appearance of just a reciprocal linking kind of a thing.
Right.
And of course, if your main site takes a hit for whatever reason, someone does negative SEO on you, which is a real potential problem, at least your other sites would be pulling in some traffic. And then the third main reason is you can have different content writers write each site for you, and you can sort of evaluate what type of content ranks best and who the best writer is. I'm not a big fan of having a big SEO company rewrite websites. I'm more of a fan of getting someone who's a real legit, like an English major, a doctor, or a master's degree in English, and having them write the site. And so I would get several different writers and try them all out and see which one works the best. But I definitely recommend you have more than just one main site. You should have one main branded site, but you should have some niche sites. Jonathan Rosenfeld has done terrific with niche sites. You just have to do them in such a way that the content on the niche sites is not substantially similar to your main site. They have to be real targeted and specific. So like for me, I have a bicycle accident attorney's blog. I have a motorcycle accident attorney's blog. And yeah, I have a page on my main site that discusses motorcycle and bicycle, but it's not real specific and it's not over the top. It's just a little bit of stuff. So it's a little, it's kind of nice to do that. I think it's a smart move. So don't just stop at your one site. Now, as far as your Google videos go, that's something that Seth was talking about. There's a lot of guys spamming the crap out of these videos. Buy 1,000 backlinks and point them to their YouTube video.
Right.
And that's ranking videos really well. For some reason, Google is not punishing that type of SEO. But the word on the street is Google's looking at this now because there's been a lot of complaints. Because I'm always surfing through the Google Webmaster Help forums, and they're fully aware of what's going on.
Right.
So I would look in the next, especially with the payday loans and all this other algo that they've come out with, I would look for within the next couple of months for a lot of YouTube videos getting hit. So I think the best way to build a link to a video is if you do a really cool article for me that I like, and I have the opportunity to edit it, and I decide what the backlink's going to be, so I'm not looking at a linking scheme, and you put your video code into that article, that's the best way to get link juice back to a video, is to have that video embedded on other websites that are highly relevant to your site.
Right.
And so, I would love it if you came up with a really cool article that talked about DUI accidents. And, if you want to include a video about rising blood, lowering blood, or, whatever, in that actual article, I've got no problem throwing that up on one of my blogs or something like that if it's really good. And I think it's going to help, if I think it's going to help somebody who's visiting my website. So always approach it like this. If you're going to do what they like to call guest posts, I don't. Andre and I call it sharing knowledge. If you're going to do something like that, make sure it's something that actually you really think is going to help people.
Okay.
That somebody really wants to read. It's not, just there to try to get ranking or traffic. It's there really because people might want to click on it. And
Right.
then for all of our buddies, we can share the crap out of it and click on it and, share it with other people who are not attorneys to try to help them understand. And then the icing on the cake here, I'll just top this off and we can close this out, is you should be sandwiching shares. So you probably notice I don't really post a lot of law stuff on my
Right.
social media. Most of my followers are not even attorneys. Because it's not that I don't love you guys, it's that I'm trying to avoid the appearance of what's Google used to call circles. I don't want to create a spammy circle of a bunch of people linking back and forth to each other and only voting because we're all trying to help each other rank. I want to
Right.
have legit people who are potential prospective clients. And yeah, I might piss a lot of people off because of my politics or whatever, but I also am stirring up controversy. And I take it to the extreme. You guys don't have to be like me, of course, but most of the people that hire me because of my personality and
Right.
because I'm outspoken and because I am defined, because I actually am not afraid to take a position. So those are the kind of clients that I want because they're always going to give me the benefit of the doubt. Always, always, always going to give me the benefit of the doubt if there's ever a problem because they already like and trust me.
Right.
So it's like if they question me, they're questioning their own judgment. So that's kind of what I do. So make yourself defined, build a niche for yourself, and have people who aren't just attorneys. You don't want to just do circle sharing. You really want to have of a bunch of lawyers.
Right.
Yeah, every once in a while, go in there and share some stuff from other lawyers. Post a couple of cool legal things, but sandwich that in between other stuff that's cool that people like. I mean, have fun on social media. And if you disagree with trading 5 terrorists for Bergdahl, I mean, post a meme about it with a picture of those guys cutting people's heads off and say, was this a fair trade? Do things like that, and then underneath you can post something about how to become a lawyer without law school. That's something people like. Oh my God, you can become a lawyer without law school? That's amazing. Oh, and by the way, I actually wrote a really cool bar exam question for Eli's site over here. Take a look at it. It's on how to become a lawyer. This is my model bar exam answer that I did talking about criminal law. Check it out. It's got a crossover about personal injury, about a guy who caused an accident, when he got drank too much and ran over a guy on a bicycle. So, there's other ways of doing stuff to get traffic to your site, and then you can become sort of like that lawyers.com or that Findlaw by building your own source of traffic like they've been able to do over time. And then maybe you can sort of beat that hummingbird algorithm. Now, I'm kind of bummed out that Andre doesn't have any sound, but at least here. So I've introduced you guys to each other. I'm going to go ahead and stop the actual recorded session of the broadcast.